Listen, it's no surprise that Dayz on console had a really bumpy start, especially at the beginning. The first couple of years were so horrific and daunting that even its loyal community started to question its existence. The first year or so, it seemed as if it was just experimental, where in reality the game was just filled with so many issues that probably even developers themselves didn't know where to begin. Because this standalone title was developed inside of an old engine, not only is Dayz outdated compared to its new upcoming competitors, but it's also become more and more unstable as days go by. Makes it that much harder to work in the game. But just as I mentioned earlier, right when the game started dawning on itself, this is when some major updates started to release in attempts to save the game, or so it seems. Dayz started to introduce the new assets, such as parks, guns, new traps, new stealth animation, new visual improvements, the sound, and the list just goes on. And that is when it brought back those who abandoned the title as well as caught the eye of those who are newcomers. There was a healthy balance in between. Now skipping straight forward to 2022, and this is when the Bohemia Interactive decided to face its worst enemy, so to speak. And they have officially introduced the roadmap development. And let me tell you what that is and why this is probably the most important thing in my opinion. As many of you already know, Dayz is legendary for its weird and unpredictable bugs that just never seem to go away. As new updates come up, there's constantly something new that is wrong with the game. For newcomers, this gets very frustrating to the point where they just quit and abandon the game altogether. And then for the veterans of Dayz, well, they just accept it because they're used to dealing with stuff like this because that's nothing new to them. Well, with the roadmap, Dayz has officially decided to face its worst and probably yet the most difficult opponent of them all, and it is driving. Driving in Dayz has been one of the most frustrating things for the longest time. Dayz is probably the only game out there that gives you the opportunity to drive. However, it makes it clear that you have got to watch your speed limit because otherwise it'll pull you through the map to hell, quite literally. So what we learned to do, especially on console side of things, we must go 10 kilometers per hour around the cities, and then we can probably bump it up to 35 to 40 kilometers on country roads. The risk is still out there, but at least it's minimal. And if you've never played this game and you're listening to this, you're probably thinking, bro, what the hell, I would never play a game like this. And that's what I'm saying. Dayz is in this state because of its loyal community. And I gotta be honest with you guys, if the game was in solid state without any of these issues, or at least to the minimal extent, the game would be pretty badass and far more popular. And maybe that's why developers realize how bad of a turnoff the driving really is. It's so bad that it has gotten to the point where it just started to push people away. So with the roadmap, they plan to release 5 updates this year, ranging from minor to major fixes. They're also planning on holding the seasonal events. As you might recall from the past, they will rely on their partners as well as the community itself to further improve the performance of Dayz in general. That includes ensuring that older generations of hardware are not left behind. One of the major updates this year will be improving Livonia map. They promise to make the environment a lot more interactive, which is in my opinion mind-blowing. More interactive environment means more realism and more roleplay opportunities. So if you haven't bought the DLC map as of right now, you might want to do so, otherwise it will just not be a part of this update at all. Especially if you're only playing on console, as you might already know that the console players only have access to Chernorus and Livonia. Now to the juiciest part of the year, which is my personal favorite, which is them importing the latest version of vehicle simulation from newer version of their Infusion engine, which should technically bring some healthy stability to vehicle simulation, and expect to perform some public testing in upcoming weeks, which is super close. It's like literally right around the corner. Driving in Dayz has been the major and yet the most frustrating thing of them all, and this element is very important because the map in Dayz isn't small and it requires time to get from point A to point B. Cars in Dayz not only play a huge role of transportation, but it's also a huge part of storage unit. Without cars, quite frankly, Dayz won't feel as immersive as it already has for the past 2-3 years on console. Many people might be wondering to this day as to why Dayz performs the way it is and why hasn't it been fixed. And to answer that simply in the most understanding way, let's just say that Dayz was exported as a PC title straight to the console rather than reworked and coded specifically to meet the console criteria. Yes, the version of Dayz that you're currently playing on PS4 or Xbox is literally a copy that belongs to PC. And for the most consoles, it's hard to handle this type of performance, and that is why you see a substantial amount of issues that just don't seem to go away. And just a side note, if you are currently playing Dayz on PS4, I can't really speak for Xbox players, but if you're playing this on PS4 and you want to improve your Dayz performance, I recommend buying a separate SSD drive. Not only will it improve Dayz performance overall, but it will also decrease the chances of you crushing your vehicle and completely destroying it. The risk is still out there. However, since the SSD drive is a lot faster than the actual hard drive itself, it renders objects a lot faster and more efficient on your PS4, which prevents your PS4 from working too hard in the sense. It's not to say that the roadmap is the answer to all of this. The issue might still arise, especially later down the line. However, I do have faith in this update, and we have never seen Bohemia Interactive just come out and say, listen you guys, we're going to focus on vehicles now. That's unheard of. And if they slightly fix the driving performance in Dayz, I'd say this game will go a long way. I mean, it already has. It has inspired so many other titles, but it needs to live up to its expectations in this sense. I'd say any changes made to vehicles will boost the performance of driving, and since they mentioned exporting animation from the newer engine, that's safe to say that it will certainly perform a lot better, hands down. I'm not saying that it will be perfect, but it will be improved a lot. And certainly last but not least, they promised to release new assets to the game, and you might be wondering what that is. Well, as far as right now, it's unclear. However, it can be either a new vehicle, zombies, weapons, buildings, crafting material, or just simply new clothing. As you already know, the recent 1.16 update introduced a new police vest, as well as the new rifle and a yellow motorcycle helmet, and those things are certainly assets. And before I let you loose, I do have a private roleplay server that is solely based on a short film project that I'm currently working on. The slots are limited. I'm not sure for how long I'll keep the server running. It is taking place in Livonia, so before you consider joining, you must have Livonia DLC. And no, I'm not planning on switching to Chernarus anytime soon. So if you like the roleplay aspect of Dayz, and especially the voice acting and the storytelling, definitely consider giving it a try. I'm not going to drag this video for too long. You guys really seem to like it when I jump straight to the detail without wasting too much of your time. Here's a little clip from my roleplay. I hope you enjoy it, subscribe, and like the video. Bye.
Good day, comrade. Wakey wakey. Today is February 22, 2014. Right now, the time is 15:23. My men found you on the eastern side of our village with the woman. Unfortunately, the woman didn't make it. I'm sorry to inform you, comrade. Whoa, take it easy. Take it easy, comrade. You suffered a severe brain injury. Every movement is very crucial to you.
Every group we came across had a new way how to get out of this thing. They didn't know anything about us. They don't know what we had to go through. Things we had to do. I bet some of those things you have to do yourself, am I right? Listen, what I'm about to say is going to be very important, so please listen careful. There is a man in your group. He took everything I had. He gave me no choice. You can still change everything. Change your outcome. You had nothing to do with this, just set me free. And I'm gonna let you live. I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna let you go. Just set me free right now. And run.
Sorry, comrade, I'm afraid I can't take that offer.